Hi, my name is Becca, and this is Beyond the Pew. A few weeks ago, I was giving a talk at a high school youth night, and as part of my talk, I wanted to do this activity with all of the high schoolers and the volunteers. So I had them all come into the area and I had them sit down, and all of them were given this piece of paper that had a huge list of things that we might be struggling with, maybe 12 or 13 of them. Things like a bad relationship or a parent's divorce or homework or bullying, things that we kind of experience brokenness in and might need healing from. And I had all of them sit down and look at the list and check off the ones that they were struggling with or ones that they desired healing from. And I didn't have them write their names on it or anything, it was all anonymous. But I collected all the piece of papers and I passed them back out to everyone so that no one had their original piece of paper. And I sat down with them, and one by one I started listing them out. And as I listed them out, they were supposed to stand if it was checked off on the piece of paper in their hand. So for example, the first one was depression. So I said depression, and anyone who had that checked off stood up. And it wasn't to show, who was struggling with what, because it was anonymous, but it was actually to show that we are not alone in the things that we might be struggling with, that we're not the only ones dealing with this heartache that we're kind of sitting in at the time. And I absolutely loved how the activity went, right? The volunteers were doing it too, so everyone was involved, and they got to see that we also struggle with things that they might be struggling with. And the reality is that when we experience brokenness, when we experience heartache, it's isolating. The fact that we live in a fallen world makes us feel like we are the only ones who are dealing with that particular heartbreak or brokenness. And that's actually what causes more brokenness in our lives, right? That not only am I struggling with my parents getting a divorce, but I'm also the only one who's dealing with this specific thing. And that's not the reality of the world that we live in. We can't escape the brokenness in this world. We can't escape the fall. We can't escape the sin that surrounds us. We can't escape hurting other people or being hurt by other people. But there is one thing that we can do, and that is turn to the Lord. In that isolation that we feel, not only do we feel like no one else is going through it, but we also feel like the Lord isn't in it either, that Jesus isn't standing right next to us, suffering alongside of us. And I remember when I was in high school, I always struggled with opening up to my parents about anything because they always seemed to have their lives together, or they were, dealing with their own stuff, and my own problems weren't anywhere near what their problems were. And I really struggled with sharing with them. But I remember my mom sitting down with me and telling me about some stuff that she went through in high school and college. And it allowed me to be able to talk to my mom about those things. Right? I know that when I was growing up, my mom struggled with trying to get me to open up about my life. And even now as a youth minister, I struggle with getting any of my 7th and 8th graders to open up about all the things that they're struggling with. But the thing is, the best conversations that I've had with my mom, the best conversations that I've had with any of the youth at our youth group have started with me opening up about the things that I'm dealing with. Began with the adult initiating that conversation, right? I know that you as parents might really be struggling with getting your kids to open up about anything. I mean, it could be something as simple as homework or something as drastic as a bad relationship that they're in. But I think that it's because we've put up walls to other people who seem like they might be perfect, or who we don't think that our problems are worth their time. So I want to encourage you, if you are struggling with this, if you're struggling with something, or you're struggling with getting your child to open up about something, share your life with them. Be vulnerable with them. They're not going to take it and gossip about you everywhere. I didn't do that with my mom. They're going to see it as an opportunity to share with you. If you're a youth minister and you're struggling with getting your kids to open up about things, have yourself or their small group leader open up. Talk about the things that they're struggling with. Talk about the brokenness that they've been experiencing in their lives. And it will allow them to do the same. And most importantly, pray for your children, pray for yourself, pray for your spouse, pray for your family. Pray for the youth in your youth group. Whoever it is, pray for them, because the Lord knows what's going on in their heart, even if you don't. I want to encourage you, pray for them, open up to the Lord about what you're struggling with. Give them a platform to open up to the Lord about what they're struggling with, and it will help your family grow.